All right, all right, all right. Can you guys hear me? My sound is not. There we go. All right, sound on and working. So, as we go through this today, we're going to be talking about do I need do I need a computer science degree to become a software engineer? And honestly, when covering this topic, one of the things that we got to think about is like, has there been people who've done it already and has not have not been a software engineer? I mean, or went to school rather. And honestly speaking, I've worked with a lot of developers who did not have a computer science degree. I myself do not have a computer science degree. I actually have a degree, but I don't have a computer science degree. I have a degree in history and pre-law, but for some reason, I decided to get into software engineering, and I've worked with people who are high school dropouts. So really, really does not matter or what degree you have. Now, I'm not gonna say having a computer science degree does not matter at all and it doesn't help you at all. Like if you're like a semester away from getting that degree, just don't do it. I'm not gonna say that. But I am gonna say you need to evaluate what you're actually gonna spend your money on, right? Because there's a lot of schools out there, a lot of opportunities that are out there for you to actually learn this knowledge for close to nothing. And what do I mean by close to nothing? All right, how much is a computer science degree? A computer science degree is about at least $100,000. Let's say on average, school probably nowadays is probably closer to 30,000, 35,000. Let's just say 30 times four is 120. So on average, and that's just an average school, maybe below average school. We're not talking about MIT, we're not talking about Harvard, Yale, we're not talking about the elite schools that are going to be charging 50,000 a year, which brings you up to $200,000 a year for a piece of paper. For a piece of paper and the network, right? A lot of people skip that part. You're going to have a network with that piece of paper, but I mean, when you compare that to boot camps, which cost what, probably 17,000 for 3 months. Now, I'm not an advocate for going there, but I'm just saying when you look at the ROI, the return on investment, I'm like, whoa, $120,000. You could take that money, you could buy a car, you could buy a house, you could buy so much stuff with that money, and still go to a boot camp and then get a job as a software engineer, making probably 80, 90,000 dollars a year starting off. Depending on your location, I've seen some jobs where it's like 60,000 starting off too. So will it help? Of course, it definitely helps you because you meet your professors. You're going to have internships, right? Like more people are going to be more willing to give you an internship because you're a college student. They're going to be more willing to exploit your labor in that regard. However, if you're above 25, above that age, and you already have a career and you're trying to figure out how to transition, there's no need for you to actually go back and get a 4-year degree. It's a big investment. But a lot of people, what they do, they look at boot camps, or they look at like a mentor or coach, and then they'll look and say like, oh, this person charged me this much money. They said it's going to be $5,000, $6,000. Can you believe that? Or it's going to be $17,000. Can you believe that? I might as well just go to college, right? But it's like, what, really? At $17,000? That's not even a tenth, or I guess it's just over a tenth at the lower end of what you would pay. But you pay that, and then you get a job like that can make you $100,000, not just the first year, but the second year, the third year, the fourth year, and then your skills are going to continuously increase. So when we're looking at it, it's like computer science degrees are great, but again, Are there better alternatives? Right? What about me studying on my own? How about if I went that way? There's an opportunity cost there too, because it's going to take longer if you do it by yourself, just by the nature of you not knowing like what's going on. But for sure, it's 100% possible for you to become a software engineer. We got one person watching with me, which is pretty awesome because I was thinking that it was going to be nobody. So uh, I would love some type of interaction if it's possible at all. I don't know if you're allowed to chat or not, but hit me in the little chat box. It would be definitely cool. We have some different interactions going on. I'm curious if you have a computer science degree or if it's something that you've been considering or not. But yeah, you can absolutely become a software engineer. Like again, I think I just mentioned it. A high school dropout getting paid pretty much the same amount as me, right? We're right there, neck and neck, right next to each other. Started working the same time. I had 10 years of experience as a teacher, a decade teaching. I taught overseas as well. So definitely, quote unquote, educated in the traditional sense. However, when it comes down to it, it is, can you do the job? Can you do the job? If you could do the job, you're going to get hired. If you can't do the job and you got the piece of paper that says you got a CS degree, what difference does it make? Right? What difference does it make if you have that paper, but you can't code anything, or you can't build a project, or you can't work on a team, you can't do anything? Who cares? That piece of paper is meaningless. All it's supposed to do is show how dedicated you are, or how you're able to actually sit in class and complete the assignments, right? And you should have technical knowledge because of that degree. But again, there's so many ways to supplement that. There's books, there's audio books that you can buy and listen. Right now, I'm going through the Pragmatic Programmer, and it's an awesome book. It gives you a lot of information in terms of the mindset that you need to have as a developer. Honestly, I wish I had that book for my first job. It was just so many things that I looked at and was like, oh, I should have been doing this at that job, right? I should have been doing these things, and you know, it was a toxic environment, but I could have made it better according to like what I was reading in the books. And I don't know if this 100% true, but I would have loved to have tried if I had known to read that book. My engineering managers or anybody didn't recommend that book to me. I had no idea about that book, but here we are. You live and learn. You learn from your mistakes and you grow, and you learn from negative situations just as positive situations. But again, can you become a software engineer without a college degree or without a degree in computer science? You can become one without a high school degree. What difference does it make? If you could read, write, and if you have a dedication for learning stuff about technology, reading and writing is basic, and then you can learn everything that you need to know by videos or having a mentor, a guide, coach, an instructor, whatever the case may be. Get those skills, build the right projects with the right focus. I don't know if you guys watched that, like Key and Peele when he's making fun of Karen Garnett. He's like, anything's possible. Like literally, it's possible. You could teach yourself. There's so many people. Like I'm drawing a blank on his name, but it was something Moss. I think his name is Scott Moss. He was a software engineer. I mean, he wasn't. I think he was a high school dropout. I'm not 100% sure, but he taught himself how to become a software engineer. He became one, and he was a senior software engineer at Netflix, I believe. And if you know anything about Netflix, pretty much their base entry level is or automatically in the six figures. Automatically in the six figures, right? I want to say low twos, but I don't know for a fact. But I know what I do know for a fact is it is in six figures. And if you're a senior, there was a position for a level 4 that was for 800. I think it was either 800 or $900,000 a year to be a software engineer at Netflix on that level. So Now he's an investor. He invests in other engineers and their ideas and their projects. How do you go from that, not having really any knowledge, to teaching himself, to now being able to invest in projects? There must be some type of, value, if you will, that from that skill of coding that he learned and he taught himself, right? So this field, this skill can do so many different things for you. Don't let a college degree hold you back, because I mean, it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day, and you want to spend 150. I mean, you could pay, you could go to boot camp like 10 times. You go to a boot camp 10 times, back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Like boom. You can spend like 2 years in boot camps for the equivalent, and you're gonna build way more stuff, and you're gonna be even better of a software engineer than if you only went to the traditional route. Because that 4 years, what are you gonna be doing in between that 4 years? Well, you're gonna take what, 4 or 5 classes, and then you're gonna have a break, and then you're gonna take 4 or 5 classes, and then you're gonna have the summers, and you're not really gonna do much, right? And by the way, you're gonna be working this whole time, so you're investing a lot of money. But not only to mention that, you're investing years of your life that you're never gonna get back. Money, yeah, maybe you might be able to make $150,000. Oh, okay, I'm gonna get a job that's gonna pay me $100,000. How long is it gonna take me to pay off that loan? Right? But I eventually, sure, you might make a whole bunch of money and be able to pay it off quickly. Sure. Sure, sure, sure. But that 4 years of your life, you're never going to get back. That 4 years of your life that you're struggling just to get by because you got these student loans like lingering over you, and you probably got to work a job, and you probably got bills to pay. Not to mention if you got kids. If you got kids, you shouldn't even be thinking about going back to college, because it's just not for a computer science degree, not to get a job. If you're doing it just to get it, no. There's a whole bunch of other ways for you to go. Now, again, it's great. You can do it, but I'd rather you invest in yourself, learn the skills that you need to learn, get the job. And if you want to go back and get that degree to make mama happy, go back and get that degree to make mama happy. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to move the needle. Is it once you get that experience under your belt, people are going to want to interview you. People are going to want to at least talk with you to see if you are a good fit for their team. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. The way that we used to look at college before needs to end. That was before, right? Where, the standard was a high school degree, and then going to college actually meant something. Nowadays, so many people, everybody, like, college is the new high school degree equivalent, right? Like, you got a college degree, who cares? Like, there's people who work at college, like, got a college degree and work at Walmart. No shots at Walmart. But if you got a college degree, when you're going to college, you're not thinking that you're going to work at Walmart. You're not thinking that you're going to work at Burger King. Like, I worked at Burger King when I was 16, 17, 18. No shots again. Like, there's no shots whatsoever. But you're not going to college thinking and planning, oh, I'm going to work at Burger King. The average person, I definitely wasn't. I worked there as a janitor. While I was going to college, and I wasn't thinking like, oh, like when I finish college, I can't wait to continue to be a janitor. Right? There's a whole purpose behind what we're doing, what we're pursuing. So we can't just think like, oh, I'm gonna just go to college because that's what everybody else does, and I don't have to pay anything right now. Like, you're gonna have to pay. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't, bankruptcy, it does not matter. That thing is gonna follow you until you die. You're gonna be paying that off. It does not matter. And that's like, you got to think about that investment. You have to think about that investment. And when you think about it like that, everything else is a great deal. Everything else is a great opportunity for you to thrive. And there's no better opportunity, especially with all the different programs out there that you can compare, but don't have paralysis by analysis and get stuck and don't do anything because this program is, I don't know, this program or that program or this program or do something and it will work. But you got to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. With that, the live is over. I'll see you guys.